Only just auto-fired. So Warlock might go down here. Yeah,
Oh, it
definitely
does go down to double blood crusher. One of those blood crushers really close to going down. Does go down.
does go down, but too little, too late. 25 VPs left for Lindonin.
And these warp spiders are gonna. I mean, they're trying to stop these heretics from capping, but look like they're gonna go down.
Might lose a squad here.
That predator's gonna go down. I think. Yep. Double nades.
So many low HP squads here for Lindonin. Warp Spiders and the Banshees and the Bright Lance Sword and sort of.
Wow, warp spider's gonna go down. So both warp spiders gone. Possibly the Banshees here if that melter pistol gets another shot. No.
Nope.
Autark calling. Just gonna miss.
Yep, no, that's GG.
I'm not sure where he's. Yep, does concede. So yeah, thoughts?
Well, it started off pretty decently for Lindonin. He actually beat DaDokisinX into tier 2. If you look at his power number, he had 412 power, so that definitely wasn't an issue unlike last game. It was just... I'm just questioning his unit choices, really. The double warp spiders didn't really prove to be that effective. I mean, the one was decent for the haywire grenade, that was obviously going to prove useful. But I really feel that he should have definitely bought something else other than the second warp spider squad. It just didn't do anything for him, in my opinion.
How about the Banshees this time? I don't know if they really got much out of them again.
I mean, they're level 3, but it's just they were able to kill a couple of the heretic squads at tier 1, which was pretty decent. The Destructor basically kind of tipping the sort of the fights in the Banshee's favour and using the low wall to chase them down and finish them off. So in my opinion, they were worth it in tier 1. It was just in tier 2. I really feel he should have got that Wraith Lord when he had the resources, or I mean, there's so many choices he could have gone with, but the double warp spiders just didn't do anything.
I mean, the Wraith Lord and the Wraith Lord and Shuriken combo. I mean, he's going to be able to put pressure on that teleporting sorcerer. He's going to be able to put pressure on these blood crushers, and I think because that blood crusher stuck around so long, and then that allowed the Doc to push to tier 3, get that pred, and then another blood crusher. And by the time it was a pred and 2 blood crushers, it was just too much for Lindonin to deal with. He couldn't even deal with 1 blood crusher.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he'd sort of got on top of that blood crusher early on, got a Wraith Lord or got even a Bright Lance could have worked out, but it just kind of chose to. It was almost as if he was kind of ignoring the blood crushers. And I said, relying on the Banshees as his main AV unit, they're just getting subjugated most engagements, and just basically proving to be useless. When he came out of subjugate, obviously they were parked in front of 2 blood crusher or 1 blood crusher and some heretics and some tax. And with the 2 warp spiders being so far away, weren't able to help, just had to retreat the Banshees, and that was the end of that engagement.
I mean, he had 3 unit choices, didn't he, really, that were better than the one he chose. So he chose warp spiders, he could have taken a Falcon, he could have taken a Wraith Lord, and he could have taken a Bright Lance, and all 3 of those would have been superior to the choice that he took, really.
Yeah, definitely. I don't quite see why he didn't decide to go with the Falcon. It would have proven pretty effective, especially with the haywire grenades. I mean, the only thing that can really damage it from DaDokisinX army was the tax and the blood crusher. But
I mean, the tax don't do a ton of AV. They've got some. I mean, they've got the melter pistol on the aspiring champ of the squad, which does a bit of AV.
They actually do a surprisingly large map damage actually to Falcons. You'd be surprised.
Right, okay. What is it? It's just power damage though, isn't it? That they do power melee that they've got.
Yeah, it's power melee, but it's strange. They do seem to just vapor part vehicles. The sergeant, I believe, has like a melter gun thingy.
Yeah, the melter pistol. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, let's just have a quick look through the stats. Are you on the stats screen yet?
I can be.
Okay. So, Commander level 4 for Lindonin, 5 for DaDok, 2 Commander kills for DaDok and 1 for Lindonin. 58 units killed for Lindonin, 52 units lost. So, I mean, pretty close there.
Kind of. If you consider the fact that most of those unit losses for DaDokisinX were heretics.
Yeah.
And most of the unit losses for Linden were Banshees and Warp Spiders.
Yeah, which are much more expensive to reinforce.
Definitely.
The resources are a lot closer this game, so it does kind of point a finger to what you were suggesting with unit choices in general, really.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Any final words from you?
Other than the car alarm going off in the background, which is really annoying. No, as I said, it was just the unit choices. Didn't really work out for Lindonin. I felt he could have sort of purchased a lot smarter than going with the double warp spiders, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a kind of like, I don't know what to build, but warp spiders kind of considered sort of OP and kind of face roll against everything, so I just kind of go with those and see how it works out. If you put a little bit more thought into it, it could have had a lot of different results, but
yeah, I guess they're really good support for taking down vehicles, but without a dedicated AV source, and Banshees cannot really be considered a dedicated AV source when the only real AV is coming from that one X-Arc. And if the X-Arc goes, or if the Banshees are forced off, if they take a bit of fire, that they can't stay in there long enough to take it down, so they're not really a dedicated AV source.
Yeah, definitely. The only other issue I had as well was the use of the Warlock. I mean, in Tier 1, he uses Warlock pretty effectively. Some really, really nice destructors. And then he went Tier 2, and then he purchased Merciless Witchblade. And he didn't purchase any other war gear. He didn't purchase any armor upgrades. He didn't purchase any accessory. And he spent most of Tier 2 and sort of the last 10 minutes or so of the game just kind of capping with his Warlock. Like, sort of, when nothing was really happening, he was just using it to sort of cap wreck points and pioneers around the sides of the map. And during sort of the major engagements in middle, when he really could have been using that Warlock to deal with the tax or possibly the sorcerer, it just kind of stood there capping the mid VP and just using its range attack just to knock over some random heretics or so.
I mean, after talking to like a dedicated, well, a Warlock player such as CC, we did the cast with him, he was pretty much saying, like, I know he's mainly a team player, but he just, like, you can't win, you can't do anything without your Warlock. So it kind of shows that Lindonin's not really a Warlock player, I guess.
Yeah, since he also swears by Warp Throw, it is an amazing piece of war game, one which Lindonin failed to pick up in this game.
Yeah.
He could have used it in so many situations, so many great effects. I mean, like those Banshees when they're sort of when they get subjugated and they're chasing down his Warp Spiders, even having to sort of teleport them away, he could have just Warp Throwed the Banshees into a more suitable position. Sort of when he was being chased down by the core attacks, he could have used Warp Throw to get them out of the picture. I mean, if he had purchased the Falcon and sort of haywired down the Blood Crusher, the only issue he's got to worry about is the core attacks, which he could just use either Banshee Suppression or Warp Throw just to get away.
Yeah, or he could at least melee them with a, if he'd have taken the Kernos, then he could have done an Ethereal Slash, or if he'd have, stuck with Merciless Witchblade, he could have just meleeed them and used something like Guardians to cap or something.
Yeah, with the Witchblade as well, I mean, if he had purchased that in Tier 1, he could have put it onto range stance and sat him in between the two shurikens, so that when the sorcerer teleported onto the first shuriken platform, sort of just the constant range knockbacks would have pretty much screwed over the sorcerer, allowed him to reset up and win those engagements.
Yeah, I guess I've had that done to me before, and it's not nice. You just literally cannot get up. You just constantly knock back, and it's even tough to retreat when you're just getting constantly knocked back. So,
yeah, definitely. I really feel he should have gone that. I mean, the fact that he didn't approach the Witchblade in Tier 1, I assumed he was going to go for F3 or Slash in Tier 2, but the fact that he kind of just didn't, and then finally eventually decided to purchase Witchblade in Tier 2 is a bit of a interesting choice, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that I know that are Warlock players just swear by the fact that the Warlock isn't that much of a good hero, but until you put some war gear on him, and then he just becomes the boss.
Yep, definitely.
All right, cool, no problem. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and join the rest of our cast.
Ha ha ha!